Welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and I help people get fly, make friends, and save the world through community. And on the Let's Glow Show, every single week we talk to a creative entrepreneur finding their path, creating their business, in business, tenured or not. We love to share all parts of the journey and how they get to their glow up. And this week is no different. We are welcomed by Jing Dipiero, the founder and operator of Plans by People. Welcome, Jing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
Yay. So I met Jing at the Great Lakes Women's Business Council 40th annual conference. You stopped me in the hallway and you were like, hi, I don't know that many people. I have this beautiful product, Plants by People, and I'm just trying to get connected. And I was like, let's grab a coffee. And you sent me an email right away. We had a coffee. We did a tasting at Bamboo. It's just been a beautiful growth of connections since the second we met. And the second I saw your product and the branding and then tried it, I was like, we need the whole world to know about you. We need everybody. So tell us what Plants by People is.
Well, thank you so much. I love the energy you carry with you. I just like every time I think of you, I have this big smile on the face. So thank you so much for having me. So Plants by People, oh my God, where do I even start? This was founded in the thick of COVID back
Okay.
in 2022 when the idea came to me. So for me, health is really important. I'm married to internist, the physician. I remember he once put a huge banner over our kitchen table saying sugar is poison because our children love sugar. I mean, who doesn't, right? We indulge from time to time, but in the end, we have to, take care of ourselves. So, during COVID, our life changed so much and the isolation, and there's no vaccine when it first started. It was just, we were in Oregon, Portland. It was total shutdown. I mean, my kiddos changed overnight from going to school every day to on screen. And my son was in fourth grade. The girl was just a fresh middle schooler. It was depressing. I'm sorry to say that. It just changed in so many ways. And I always like to cook things based on what I learned and what I'm used to eating while grown up. So I just said, I'm going to use the herbs to see what I can do to help us to be stronger, boost our immune system, help with digestion, improve energy, so on and so forth. So that's how Plants by People was born. Um, since I moved to Michigan 2 years ago, I reformulated everything, the packaging as well. So now we have a new line launched in June 2024, just a few months ago. I'm just so thrilled about it. And people have been really generous and kind accepting the product. So here we are. And it's just really fun journey so far.
Oh my goodness. Tell us what this is. So is this just a bunch of herbs in a packet or is it like what? Because I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, it's just like a sugar packet, right? Like it's just a bunch of sugar flavoring. Like what is this? What is this product?
That's great question. So these are made up with organic fruit and botanicals, and nothing added, nothing artificial. I'm allergic to many things. In my 20s, I moved to the US from Beijing because the diet I switched to, for good or bad. I love the taste of it, but I start having acne. I can never had such problem. I went to see so many doctors in the US that I went back to my herbalist in Beijing, my next door neighbor. He said, well, what have you been eating? I was like, potato chips, hamburgers from Burger King. I was a graduate student, I did not know them better. So for me, it's all about nature. It's all about getting the best from the nature. So every single ingredient is well selected. There are only 4 ingredients in each blend. We have 5 blends. For example, there we go. Thrive is elderberry, astragalus immunity. We have 1,000 milligrams of elderberry, 680 milligrams astragalus, and lemon and monk fruit. That's all there is. And I'm very careful with the dosage, because if you don't have anything over 500 milligrams in each serving, you can't just say, this is an immunity boost. So um, just coming to our root, Mother Nature is our best friend, I will say. So they're just pure ingredients. I interviewed over 100 suppliers, because they're additives, preservatives, the things that I don't want to see any in my products. So I try my best to
What
provide the best to
amazing products.
the market.
Okay, so I have a couple questions that are going to go two different directions. So, just to foreshadow, one of the questions is about the production of your products, because I feel like we've had like people in the fashion industry, we've had people that create jewelry and products like that, but I don't think we've ever had anybody on the show. We had a caterer on the show, but nobody in the like food and beverage manufacturing and food industry. So like going from the manufacturing side, but before we get there, I have questions about the herbalist and things like that. Like as someone who is of Filipino descent, I feel like my titas, my aunties, my mom, like the generation above me, and then their moms and titas and aunties and stuff like that, they know about like what to eat, what to put in your body, the things from the earth, things like what herbalists do. But I feel like in my generation, it's kind of like, at least I'm speaking for myself, it's kind of lost on us. And so, like, how did you get into the herbalism journey? Did somebody teach you about that? Did you just get raised knowing about what herbs to eat for what thing? Like, how did you tell me about that?
Well, that's a great question. I have a blog on our website, and also in our Instagram account. So for me, I grew up with my grandparents, and then we have a huge family. So my grandpa was a Beijing University educated engineer. He retired early, then he dedicated all his time to become a nutritionist. He studied herbs. And he and my grandma were foodies, total foodies. They love to cook, they love to eat. They always went to the market, pick up the freshest ingredients. They also eat according to the season. So my grandpa is a wonderful mathematician. He he can absorb tons of data. So what he did was he studied by himself. Before he passed away, he started writing a book about nutrition, but it was never completed. And luckily, we have an next door neighbor who was a renowned herbalist in China. So he and my grandpa were the best buds,
Yeah.
and they were about the same age, and they just trade all the recipes. And my grandpa was a scientist. He learned from the scientific aspect of the herbalism, and my neighbor was a trained through generations a herbalist. So they just create wonderful, food recipes, and also for us, we just benefit from all of them, because when I was sick, and I rarely went to, well, my parents did take me to hospitals when for acute situations, but when I was coughing nonstop and have a lot of chronic problems, the neighbor took care of me. So I went to his house. He had herbs everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. It's just amazing. It smelled so unique, so different from all the other households. So
Mhm.
I gravitated toward that, and I would go shopping for herbs with them in the herb market when I was little. So that's how I grew up. It's just fascinating. I had health problems. He helped me with that. And my grandmother, my dad's mom, had lung problems, because she was a smoker for many decades. In her last few years of her life, her health deteriorated. She couldn't sleep because she couldn't breathe. And the neighbor really helped her with potent herbs, because, you got to take care of the patient, look at them. They prescribe all the herbs, they cook them, mix them, have them drink it. So anyway, I was just fascinated with all that since a very, very young age. I studied on my own. Of course, I was lucky. I had sort of the best teacher in the world to learn herbs. So
Yeah.
he was my best mentor for many years until he passed away. And everywhere I traveled, I just wanted to learn about herbs, the local home remedies, and what's unique about that the herbs in that region, that area. So yeah, I have always carried that with me since I got married. My husband is American. He's a Michigander. That's why
Mhm.
we moved here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why are you cooking this?" I just bought some fresh ginseng from H Mart. So this is the season to really cook ginseng, make some stew. It's time to nourish your body, get ready for the sort of the cold winter, especially in Detroit. So
Mhm.
that's how I do it. And this is perfect way for me to share what I've learned.
Yeah.
And I know it worked. From my personal experience, from what, there are more research coming out showing the herbs, for example, like Thrive, right? Astragalus has been used in Asian countries for centuries, and they're slowly having some NIH-funded research about the medical property of astragalus. We're starting to uncover the treasure, the mystery, the power of plants. So I'm really happy that we're in this juncture of time.
Yeah. I'm wondering for people, obviously this is like the easy button where I could just go grab a box from you and not like mentally have to worry. I'm like, okay, Jen did all the work. She did all the studying. But if I was the type of person that wanted to go to H Mart or one of these, I live in Warren, so all of these beautiful Asian markets in my area, I'll walk in, they have all of the herbs all over in the beautiful glass containers. And I know when you said it, I thought of there's a store right across the street from me. I can't remember what the name is, but I'm picturing it. If I remember at the end, I'll drop the link down below. But that's exactly what I pictured, like herbs everywhere, glass containers everywhere. And I walk in there and I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. There's like so much stuff. I don't know enough. So if I was curious or somebody in the audience was curious about tipping their toe into herbalism, like, do you have any books you would recommend? Any like places that you would start doing research? Any like resources? What are the resources that you would recommend? And while you say that, I'm gonna make I got Bloom today. So Bloom is cherry ginseng energy. So I'm gonna make that because I got some sparkling water right here. I wish I had
Fantastic.
cameras, but
No worries. So, there's so much information out there. Google has been our friend, and we live in this era. But I would say it's so deep. I'm sorry to say that. It's just so much out there. And if for anyone who just want to have understanding of what the herbs are, your WebMD is helpful. And I also, for my research, when I was formulating the products, I went NIH funded research. They're like white paper and as well as some clinical trials. And that will be, if you want to go into the research aspect of it, I will say NIH funded research will be helpful. However, if you go back to the herbalism versus the Western medicine, they are so different fundamentally. For Western medicine, it's about mechanical components of every single ingredients, but we
sure.
forget something about how this particular item interacts with our body. And we, from a Western medicine perspective, is more looking at one singular ingredient, one singular compound. But in traditional Chinese medicine, it's about understanding the holistic aspect of it, not only the one particular ingredients in the plant, but also what other aspect of it, the fiber, the mineral, and also where it was grown, and also how that interacts our body as a whole. And because each herb, I think this is very interesting because the world, according to classical Chinese medicine, is divided into five elements. The earth, um, the air, the wood, the metal, the fire. So each ingredients has one prominent element of that. So that needs to be aligned with who you are as individual. For example, I may have more fire in me, then I should not be drinking product with more fire in it. So
know
it's
that
alignment with a harmony.
I'm curious, like how are you defined elementally? Like how do you know you have more fire in you? And what is your like do you have a little bit of everything?
We sure
Is
do. We sure do.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
And
I'm
much. I think this is becoming a Chinese medicine
Yeah,
episode now.
yeah.
There are 5 elements in nature, and we are in these 5 elements, and we possess all 5 as well, but depends on the time, depending how we feel, we may have more prominent element at one time than another. So that's where the Chinese medicine, the herbalist or the acupuncturist or the naturopathic doctor comes in. They will be checking on your pulse and looking at how you look and talk to you, hear you, and then decide what elements are you lacking or what elements you have too much. Based on that, they prescribe the medicine, the herbs, say, this is what you need. And also it changes because it's a dynamic world. I know this is kind of super abstract and remote and
Oh,
foreign, but
yeah.
that's how it works. Supposedly you should be seeing a doctor every 2 weeks, every month at least, because our body changes. And so the medicine prescribed to you can be different. So it's not like one size fits all. Even if you have diabetes, here's a pill, here's an injection. I mean, it doesn't work. I mean, it works in the Western medicine world, but if you
But
really
does
want to
it
do well,
really, like, I don't know that it actually works because I mean, I've talked about this on the Let's Glow show quite a bit, but I'm at another end of my experience. And like for those of you that have been watching, I'll update you. So Jing, you may not know, but last year I was suffering really, really bad gout flare-ups. And not only were they bad, but they were like every month and they were becoming twice a month. And I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped eating red meat. I thought that would fix it just because my doctor was like, take this pill when you get a flare up and lose 100 pounds. And I'm like, I
that's a
don't know.
tall order.
Yeah, I was just like, how though, you know? And then I started working with a nutritionist who was teaching me more about more holistic eating and like what kinds of things I should be adding to my diet. We really focused on adding food instead of taking away food, because like just removing things was not working and the things I was eating was not working. And some of it was stress induced and some of it was hormonal. But, I haven't had a flare up since February of last year.
Oh,
So I've been, eating differently, approaching the way that I put food into my body differently. And if I would have, my whole family was like, there's a daily pill. My dad takes the pill. And he's like, there's a daily pill. You could just take it and eat whatever you want. You can drink as many beers as you want. You can have as much steak as you want. And I'm like, my body doesn't want it. Like, and so if I'm not listening and just suppressing it with this pill that just makes all those feelings go away and the symptoms go away, is it actually going away? Or are we just like,
suppressing that.
yes, exactly. So my parents were like, you're doing it why are you doing it? This is such a hard thing. Like, and I got, they pushed back, like, I don't know why you're doing it like that. I don't know why you're doing it the hard way. I'm like, well, I know there's an easy way. And if the hard way doesn't work, then I'll go the easy way, but I need to know that the hard way doesn't work first before I just jump to the easy way, which is not what we're taught. It's not like common a lot, but I do feel the more I talk to people my age and the more I talk about diet and nutrition around me, the more I'm finding that people are more curious about it. They're doing their own research. They're dipping their own toe into herbalism, natural grown foods, growing their own foods, things like that. So it's trendy in a good way. Like it's starting to be more and more popular, but I think that's a good thing. It's a really good thing to be trendy.
Totally agree with you. I feel like we are very fortunate living in America. We have access to almost everything, anything, the medical advancement, just you name it. You have a
Yeah.
problem, there's a fix for you. And there's
Mhm.
a pill, there's an injection, there's surgery, there's a procedure, whatever you name it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're very fortunate. We're so used to the quick fix, and I think we're shaped in a way that um, we believe. Sorry, I don't know what's going on out there.
It's all good. I can
So
barely hear.
my son is having trouble getting up to go to school this morning, but anyway,
Aw.
yeah. And so I think I mean, we are shaped in a way that believe everything is accessible, everything is at a fingertip. I mean, that's great. We're lucky, we're fortunate. However, we have to think about what is really doing to ourselves. You know, the industrialization, the modernization has pros and cons. Some people are very fortunate. Their body is genetically strong and more tolerant with a lot of things. And when I came to America, I had this skin flared up, and
Mm.
it's really hard for me. So yeah, I think it's really nice for us to think about it because we have many years ahead of us, how we want to take our body, how we want to handle the old age is something, it's a choice.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, how old were you when you came to the US, if you don't mind sharing?
21, came to graduate school. Yes, I studied for my MBA in New York, then started my first job in Portland, Oregon.
Wow. And I was kind of just wondering what that experience has been like. I feel like, I've had a couple people from different countries on the show, but no one from China, which is pretty exciting. So I'm just kind of wondering what your experience is like, has been, being an immigrant and moving here, and now being an executive where you work during the day and a founder and a CEO of a beautiful product. What's that been like being Chinese and now being in America and now having American children and things like that? Like, what has that journey been like for you?
I feel very fortunate. I'm able to live in 2 countries, which are very, very different in so many ways, and it opened up my world, and, coming to here to, graduate school, I was well prepared, I will say, but still, it was a culture shock, and, but it's give me a different way to look at the world, look at my culture. It's like, grew up in Beijing, I knew what I knew, but beyond that, um, I wasn't sure what other part of the world was like. Coming here gave me the opportunity to learn that and also gave me the luxury to travel to other parts of the world too, which I travel a lot, and I enjoyed it. Um, I just think that's really makes me who I am, and happy that I can bridge, um, the 2 cultures and, when I make the product in particular, because I knew what worked in China based on generations of learning, but I also knew I need to make sure the American customers take accept it. That's why we did a lot of NIH research, use Western medicine perspective to formulate it to prove that this has the function, that we're looking for. So I feel like we're very fortunate. I'm carrying on this tradition for my children. So they speak 4 languages. I'm very fortunate. Um, and Chinese was like their first language because they grew up with my parents here living with us. Um, and I'm trying to have them experience as much as possible of this world. I think people are feeling the world's getting smaller, and it's just nice to travel, enjoy the food, enjoy the different culture, and also there's a lot more to it too.
Yeah. For those of us that feel like the world is still very big, what advice do you have for someone to take a leap like going to graduate school in the US or moving to Portland? If it's not for school or for a job, if they're just like, I have a yearning to move, but are feeling scared. Like, what do you have to say to them?
I was scared. I knew I was well prepared for graduate school in the US, but I was scared. I have to tell you, I did not unpack my suitcase for a whole month. Bec because I just opened up my suitcase, picking up a piece of clothes every day and do my laundry, put it back in, until one day, one of my classmates came to the dorm, said, "Hey, are you going back to China?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "What about your suitcase?" I said, "Oh, I guess I'm not settling down yet."
Yeah.
And also after, I did like I mean, I'm okay with the dorm food, right? The cafeteria food. But the first time, I think after 3 weeks or so, I had rice for the first time. I was crying, my tears were rolling down. I was like, "Oh my god." So, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I'm always curious, I'm always curious. I always want to see what's out there, what I don't know. So give yourself a push. Actually, I just met this woman. She's from Chicago. She traveled the world for 7 years and was a travel blogger. I was, oh my God, that's unbelievable. So there are a lot of people doing some wild things. And as another gal who worked for me on social media, she moved from New York to South Africa somewhere. So I know fear is always there, but just try it once, somewhere close, not too far, and see
Yeah,
how you like it. And don't just say, I'm going to go to Europe, I'm going to Antarctica. That's not
right,
going to work. So,
right. A big, huge leap. Like some people are different. So my first time on an airplane was to the Philippines. And it was, I'd been traveling before with my family. It was my senior year in high school. My mom really wanted to go visit. There was a slew of reasons why we went. But I'd never been on an airplane. I've been on, buses, and we've done road trips, and traveled locally, and, drove to New York, drove to Florida, drove like that kind of stuff, but never on a plane, and never for that many hours. I want to say that flight was like, I don't know, we stopped in Tokyo, and
oh
then
my God, it's got like 12, 13 hours or
it was
something. Oh
it
my
was
God.
long. It was a couple days because we stopped over and we were stuck there for a little while. So like sometime, and then after that, I was like, oh, I could go anywhere. Like I just was on that thing, and we ended up in this foreign country that is like the exact opposite of what the United States is and what I've ever seen. And after that, I was like, I want to go all of the places. I'm a rip the band-aid off kind of person. But like you said, Jing, if you're not, like, just take the bus to Chicago, like drive down to Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, and even those places, as close as they are, and as similar as they may seem, they're still different. Like the accents are different. The kinds of things you see out on the streets are different. So I agree. Like the baby steps are great too. And there's so many beautiful, like go to Canada. Canada's right
Oh my
there.
God, tell me about it. Yeah.
And I'm telling you guys, but I'm also telling myself because I haven't been to Toronto in like years. So we just need to go. But I am curious. So you were talking about how you're blending your Chinese roots with the westernized like product presentation. Your branding is on point. Like the way you package the way you branded the colors, the packaging, your social media, like the vibes are like, I would think that you're like in all of the Targets and all of the places, like just, and this video is like not doing it justice. Like the feel, like the boxes are like soft, and the pack, this is soft. It's like all of it is beautiful. The presentation is beautiful. The color of the drinks are like gorgeous. I'm sure this happens on its own, but like, are you a branding person? Did you hire, like, how did you get into the manufacturing space? Because it's like you were a herbalist, you liked the health benefits, but now you have this like phenomenal brand and this phenomenal product. And I'm just wondering how you got from hobbyist to business owner, especially for those of us that are curious about getting into that.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. You know, I have to delve back a little bit about how I grew up professionally in the US. So after graduate school, I started working for high-tech companies. I'm a trained CPA. So I also have other professional designations in accounting, finance, treasury. So I was very fortunate. I worked for a Fortune 100 company before I sort of quit my job, just because at the time I had two young kids, 2 and 5. Um, and I was managing corporate investment and foreign currency trading is 24/7 job. I had a team in 4 continents, 7 countries. There I was in prior to that, I managed factory, semiconductor chip factory in the US,
Hmm.
in the Netherlands, and Czech Republic. So manufacturing is nothing foreign to me because I manage a much bigger plants. But so the process is more dialed down in a way to do what I need to do. So we had to have supply chain. I had to figure out who my suppliers are, how much they're charging me, how much I can buy, the minimum order quantity, and what the lead time is. And I have to look at every single document because they may say this is lemon, but if you look at the ingredient list, there may be lemon, some other things, la 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 la, and I'm all against, flavorings and other the fillers.
Mm.
So supply chain is one thing. Then you have to find a good co-packer. At the time when I first started, I don't have a factory. I don't have a machine. So I have to evaluate how good they are, what their customers say about it, what their capacity is, when they can squeeze me for my turn, how much they're charging me, are they reliable, are they insured? Oh my God, it's a whole 9 yard. And
Thing.
now I'm so happy to say I have a machine. I bought a machine and it's right here in Ferndale. I'm so 100% Michigan-owned business. Um, there's when it comes to manufacturing, there's so many checkpoints. Things can go wrong. So you just have to be on your toes all the time. We're gonna do another production here in Ferndale to test our new machine. And I already placed my orders, and we're just going to receive the orders, inspect them. So this is already our fifth production, so it's not that bad. But I'm not trying to scare everyone, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that it's definitely an undertaking when you are doing manufacturing because it's a real product. You got to make sure this is safe, this is well manufactured, there's no quality problem, and you have to be 100% responsible to make sure you get the best to the market.
Mm.
So, but there are co-packers you can find that can take on that aspect of it. I chose to take on it myself just like a year ago, just because I can have better control. I can have small runs. I can have people test new products. That's a decision I made. But it is undertaking by any means. You had to have fun, right people, good people. In the end, you had to tell yourself, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Just give your best shot. I, I failed in the past. I found wrong manufacturer give me really bad um, products with seal problems, and the product just over a course of a month became like rock solid. I can't sell. I had to talk
Mm.
to the co-packer, say, hey, what the problem is, even get attorney involved. So things do happen. We learn it's trial and error. It's trial and error. We just have to wake up every day, say, yes, I can do it. It's just
Oh no, you're muted.
sorry.
That's
So
okay.
I wake up, say, "Why am I doing this?" But it's
Yeah.
I'm still loving what I'm doing. I still see the value of what I'm doing. So yeah, it's trial and error, but as long as we learn, and it'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah. And while you're sharing this, I remember we did have one other guest that had a product with Civ. That was Isabella, but she was doing a skincare product with like active and live probiotics for your face. And she had never worked in manufacturing before. She was working in skincare on the like skincare side. So it is possible for you to not have any experience and go into manufacturing and be successful. I think it works in your favor, Jing, that you are in the world of manufacturing and you've worked on a much larger scale. So scaling down is really smart. And I think for those of you that are watching, if you're finding yourself in career paths for your day job that are lending to a certain trait, you don't have to completely remove those things that you are learning at work from your business or your creative business. My husband Labrie, he's an artist, he's a musician, he is a all-around creative, but he's an engineer by day. And he was keeping his engineering knowledge and his artistic knowledge separate from each other. And he was going into situations with his art where I'm like, you deal with this all the time at work. You're communicating in advance, you're scheduling meetings, you're keeping line items of all the products that you work with, the quantities, you have Excel sheets for days. I'm like, why aren't you applying that knowledge to your artistry? And he was like, I never thought of that. And, so it's very interesting that you're taking this, huge automotive manufacturing knowledge and scaling it to a space that supports your hobby and your passion and now turning it into a business. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So you mentioned that you are still working full time. Tell us what you do during the day and how it's been, like how it's working and how you're creating harmony with your business and your job and your life and your family, all the things.
You know, I totally agree with you. Everything we learn has a purpose, and you just adding more tools in your toolbox. You never know when you need it. I never thought, when I started manufacturing, I was like, oh my God, who's gonna, what I'm gonna do with a chip manufacturer of factory? I mean, they're huge, they're $1 billion chip factories, and but you never know. But I totally agree with you. So I'm a CPA by training, so I'm the corporate controller of a private equity firm. And so my job is making sure the business is recorded in numbers accurately, timely, and completely. So, and I love it. Number is my game, and I love numbers. And in a way, accounting, finance is more like a foreign language. It's more translating all the business activities into a number the Wall Street understands, investor understands, and business partners understand. So, and it's after being a CPA for many years, I'm still loving that, and so I enjoy what I do. It's just a switch from it's just a switch from some of the headaches of running a small business. But I'm fortunate that I have some partners in plans by people that help me out. I'm not a marketing person. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a branding person. So and that's where we create synergy. That's where I advise young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs, just seek out partners that can help you really bring the talent that you don't have. So and it has been working well for me. It's not easy, but I feel like my day job feel making me grounded, making me feel that I am contributing, and my passion bring me the joy. I mean, the work is fulfilling too, but it's different level, different areas fulfillment. Um, it has been keeping me busy for sure,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
How do you make time for your family? Like, I know that's such a cliche question, but like genuinely, someone who's still working full time and doing the Let's Glow show and hosting the revamps, which is our product is only once a quarter. We're constantly working on it, but it's only once a quarter. So I can't even imagine like the manufacturing process, the sales process, like being in the food and beverage industry and being a corporate controller and then having to come home to your husband and kids and dog.
Not right. So I don't know where Roxy is, but she's behaving so far, thank goodness. And, my kiddos are older, they're teenagers, and I mean, they need my time for sure. Weekends, I'm trying to dedicate my weekends to them. I will be going to their games and have a sit down conversation or take my daughter to shopping, just having chat, just see what's going on. They're very self-directed. I'm very fortunate. So they're both athletes, and the girl plays volleyball, the boy plays hockey. He's going to Buffalo, New York for a hockey tournament on Thursday evening. So, thank goodness. When they were young, I was carrying diaper bags, um, and my parents were living with us, so they were so helpful, how taking care of the kiddos for me, so I don't have to worry about the daycare, babysitters. Now I think the quality time, the conversation with them is really be close to them, letting them know you care and you are there to support them makes the difference. I don't go to every single game. My husband has been very much picking up the slacks. He works too, but he has a more flexible schedule. So he take the kiddos to practice and so on and so forth. He's going to take my son to Buffalo to the tournament.
Yeah.
It takes a team. Oh my goodness, it takes a team to do it. It's not easy, but I enjoy every bit of it, even though sometimes I only sleep 3, 4 hours, but I think it's worth it. But we do try to go on a vacation once a year at least, just to make sure we chill, kick back, relax.
Yeah.
This is time of the year to really show a little bit, add a little bit self-love, right?
Yeah.
It's don't be too harsh on ourselves. I mean, we are trying to do so much. Actually, there was an article from New York Times about, oh, the parents nowadays are overstressed. My goodness, we had to worry about their school, their sports, their social life, the social media, the game time, who they associate with. Oh my goodness. Thank God my son is in the boys' school, so I don't have any of the girl drama yet. But we'll see. Next year, he's gonna be in a co-ed high school. No, we just have to show a bit.
I am curious if you don't mind sharing like about your marriage. We talk a lot about marriage and relationships and things like that on the show. I talk about my husband nonstop. He's my best friend, he's my business partner, but even those things, like sometimes we have challenges and we run into it where we're working so much on his projects, my projects, our work life, that we forget that we're husband and wife, but there are moments where we're in a coworker mode or we're in like a peer,
Roommate mode, roommate.
and then I'll bubble up. Like last night, for example, like he was working late and then he's got a big like client coming to town, and so he was politicking with his coworkers, and I was like, you don't have any time for me? And he was like, you were just out till the same time yesterday doing your politicking thing, and I'm like, well, you're not wrong, but I miss you, and then I get pouty and in my mood, and then so like how are you maintaining your marriage and the romance and the relationship and not making it so like robotic?
Oh my God. My husband is very even-tempered, very supportive. He's just picture him as an old doctor, right? Who's so patient and our best friend is a doctor in his late 80s. He's extremely patient and he's always there to listen. Um, he never shows any frustration. And he's, I think medical school trained him well.
Yeah.
He has immense patience, which I admire very much. I'm just the opposite. It's like, get it going, get it done today. No,
Fine.
yesterday. And, so, we try. I mean, we talk about kiddos, we talk about family life. It's just I think people your audience may get tired of me tired of hearing me say it's hard.
Yeah.
We do the best we can, we try to be realistic. We know we don't have too much time for each other, but we try, we try to go to a movie, actually we tried to go to a movie after Thanksgiving, but we were just too full to do that. We were just too tired. We're going on this vacation for Christmas. We're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna be on a cruise ship, just enjoy
Enjoying.
food,
Yes.
enjoy the sun, and, just be with each other.
I love it.
Um, I wish that we could do it more often, but at least we have it once a year.
Yeah.
We also have spring break,
Yeah.
winter break, and, summer break. We try to do things as a family. So Albert is a very supportive person. It's just, I'm very fortunate that he's not
Oh,
overly demanding, right?
yes. I think we're both lucky in that way. I don't know where his patience, he's not a doctor, but he's very patient with me. And I'm the same way. I'm like, God, I must have a lot of fire in me.
It's
But
still a
just
lot
to,
between you and
yeah,
me.
like I'm constantly like, let's go, 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 go. And then I'll come up for air and be like, do you still love me? And he's like, I've loved you this whole time. What do you mean? I've been here. He's very patient. He's very supportive of everything I do. And, and he's patient with my emotional ebbs and flows too, which I think is important as someone. I talk a lot about this on the show as someone who has been in abusive relationships, like having someone so even keeled all the time. I'm like, are you sure you're not mad at me? Like, are you sure? And he's always so patient with that side of me that's still recovering and may always be recovering from those kinds of situations. But he's just cool, calm, and collected. And when I want romance, he gives it. When I want work, he gives it. When I want play, he gives it. When I want to, just unwind and just chill and be a couch potato, he gives it. So
I
you know,
bet you do something for him too. It
oh,
just
yeah.
always a give and take because I have to tell you, my husband is very entrepreneurial. I got that from him. He invested in businesses. He invests his time, our funding in businesses, some very risky business.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, I let him do it. Um, so it's there's always a balance. There's no one person always give, give, give. There's just give and take always. I'm sure you have done some beautiful things for your husband too.
I keep his life exciting, that's for sure. I keep it
Yeah.
fun, keep it exciting, and yeah, we're very much more the people we wanna be now that we're together than we were before we met. So, definitely, like, harmonious and all that beautiful stuff. I love it. It's already been an hour.
Oh my gosh, serious? Oh my goodness, I've enjoyed it so much. It's
I'm
just
like, there's so much more I'm thinking about, but we'll wrap it up. We'll bring it around town. So I have two more questions for you. So one, where can people find you, find Plants by People? Where can they purchase the product? Are you in any stores? Are you like popping up anywhere? Tell us about where we can find you out on the street.
You know, I love the farmers market. We are in Royal Oak. I'm hoping to go into Eastern Market and the Birmingham Market and others. So I applied for both, but I
Okay.
know there was a waiting list. I'm hopefully in 2025 we'll be in, and we're in the co-ops in Ann Arbor. I'm going to work on getting ourselves in more retail business, but retail business is expensive, I have to say. I mean, no offense to retailers, because they have their overhead, they have their cost structure. I will say find us online and at plantsbypeople.com. That's the best way to find us. Um, I'm gonna actively working on shows and events. I know I'm gonna go to the vegan Detroit Veg Fest, the vegan events, yeah, and some women business events too. So I don't have all the details yet, but to check us out on our Instagram. We have done a beautiful job on Instagram sharing where we're doing, sharing the good news. And December is a month of self-love. So we're here to support everyone through this hectic, exciting, and joyful season.
Yay, I love it. And I like the product is amazing. I'm not a big like I prefer just plain water or plain sparkly water. I'm not a big fan of like flavors. Like I don't like them. But these are amazing. And I took a bunch home. I feel like I'm on my last. And we put them out at Bamboo for people to try. So I think we're gonna swap one of our teas out for some Plants by People. So maybe come into Bamboo if you want to give it a try. And we'll buy a couple boxes from Jing. But the product is amazing, and I can taste the art of like when I have the flavor stuff. I taste the artificial stuff, and I don't like it. And so at first I was like, I don't know, but I'm like, Oh, actually really good.
I know, we hear that a lot from the farmer's market. It's like, "Oh my god," people say, "I don't like stevia, but I love monk fruit." Monk fruit is so good. Not only is sweet, but it gives you the anti-inflammatory properties a lot of ingredients don't have. So, I mean, natural is much better than artificial. I'm sorry to say that.
I You
It
don't
is
have to apologize. You don't have to apologize. It's true. Um, okay, Jing, if you had one last piece of advice that you could tell our amazing audience and listeners here, what would you tell them?
I will say we're each individually are just amazing individuals. Just love yourself, just pursue your dream. I used to set the bar very high and I was stressed. I was just like, "Oh my god," I felt like I was failure every day. Just be patient with yourself. Love yourself, be patient with yourself. You can get there. You will do great things. Things will be lined up. That's
I
all I
love
have to say.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, like, and I like that you said that because I feel like I've been very hard on myself lately, and I've been doing so many beautiful things, and I'm not being patient with myself. I think you're saying that for me to hear because I needed to hear it. I
For
keep
myself to hear too.
Yeah, like I'm hitting these accomplishments. I'm doing my like the goals are getting there. The things are moving. I'm getting like recognition in the community and I'm sitting up on the stages and I'm looking around like at the Great Lakes Women's Business Council where I met you. I was like, why me? Like, and I
It's
keep
because you are who you are. You were radiant. You did some fabulous job. I sense
you.
energy. It's everything positive about you. It was amazing.
Thank you. But I'm arguing with that voice in my head. And I think it's because I'm comparing what I'm doing right now to what I think I should be doing and where I should be at, which where I'm at right now is so much further along than I was last year, the year before, 6 months ago, let alone 10 years ago when I first 10, 15 years ago when I first started. So be patient. I love that. Be patient with yourself. Take care of yourself like you would your best friend. Take care of your body. Prepare for like I like you said earlier, like how you preserve your body for old age is a choice. And I think that's going to be ringing in my head because I've been thinking about a lot of those things and like the consequences of my actions and what that's going to do for my future. So, Jing, I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much. This has been beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Um,
you.
we're gonna keep talking. You might see her pop up in some other spaces, and definitely if you want to do a taste testing, let us know. We'll do another one at Bamboo. We'll invite you to come over. And then for those of you that are following the revamp journey, our next one is January 25th. So mark your calendars. We're going to be at the Big Pink. Right now, we're on the hunt for some sponsors of the program, so it's growing bigger and better than it's always been. So if your small business is interested in getting in front of 500 plus individuals in the Metro Detroit area, I would say we're like 85% women of millennial age. If you're trying to get in front of those kinds of people that are interested in sustainability, community, and circular economy, let us know. You might be a great fit for sponsorship for the revamp. We will blow up your business on our social media page and send it all over the place. So let us know, send me a message, and we'll get you on there. Otherwise, we will see you next week with the Let's Glow Show, where every single week we talk to creative entrepreneurs and talk about their journey. Thank you so much. It's Amanda Sweet, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.